So today's video is all about clickbait. Yes, that dreaded tactic to get you to click. There are a lot of effective tactics involved with creating appealing video titles and thumbnails, but these sometimes get labeled as clickbait, which is not always the case. So today we're here to kill the clickbait. So firstly, for those that are alien with the term, what is clickbait? Now, it's widely viewed as an underhand method for getting people to click on posts by hyping up the content in the article or video. Now, these statements can sometimes be false or misleading, which is where you get the name clickbait. It's bait being used to get the click. Now, if you're still unsure, we scoured the internet for some examples so that you don't have to, and we even gave them that click to see if any of the titles were actually true. So first up, man tries to hug a lion. You won't believe what happened next. Nothing happened, he literally hugged the lion. Next up, the outrageous truth about green gummy bears. They were strawberry flavoured. Not really outrageous, is it? I mean, what were you expecting? Apple flavour? Okay, these are extreme examples, but let's be honest, they work. They get the click. And sure, we probably won't be revisiting those websites anytime soon, but you know, they got the quick results that they're after. And that is because the clickbait titles and clever imagery got us in, hooked us in. But why does it work? Well, there are a couple of reasons that we've listed here. Firstly, clickbait preys massively on our biggest weakness, not cheesecake, emotions. Many of these clickbait titles, they invoke an emotional response, and the more extreme, the more likely we're going to click. Many examples of clickbait don't tend to lean towards making us feel happy or excited. Have you noticed? Instead, they prompt outrage. They suggest that there is quite a significant upset waiting in that content. And this ties in nicely because human beings experience something known as negativity bias, which basically means that we focus more on bad news. Secondly, we're not just emotional beings, we're actually also really nosy. And surprise, surprise, clickbait preys on this as well. Not knowing stuff really causes us great discomfort. I know you feel this. Clickbait titles usually only provide a few key facts, and that creates a gap in our knowledge. And that's something that the human brain simply cannot live with, even if it's something as stupid as gummy bears. Now, clickbait can also rely on numbers and lists, and this works because the brain is attracted to organisation and easy digestible points and news. Now, it gives an audience a predetermined endpoint, and we love that. We love knowing how much of my time you're going to take. Misleading headlines have been used since the beginning of print, and clickbait is still used in certain areas of the media quite heavily. So I reached out to my friend and expert freelance journalist, Stephanie Yeshnik, to discuss clickbait in the media. Hello, Steph. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us today. Do you want to give a little bit of an intro to the viewers?
Yeah, no problem. My name's Stefan Yechnik. I'm a freelance journalist. I've been working in the UK and Europe for the last 3 or 4 years.
Clickbait can be used across all kinds of different formats and platforms, yeah?
Yeah, and you find that most of it now is kind of viral content publishers. That's generally what it is.
Yeah.
And it's generally websites that you maybe not even want to go on because you don't really know what the background is, what it is you're actually going to be clicking on. I think a lot of the legit publishers have kind of cottoned onto the fact now that readers generally, particularly in news, where you're reliant on essentially your reputation as a news publisher is, that you've got your facts right, you're telling the stories as they happened, you have to build trust with your readers. And I find that the serious news publishers or the well-established news publishers will steer away from clickbait because it damages your reputation in terms of honesty and accuracy.
What if the big scoop that you've got, you don't want to give that away in the title. So in some cases, it's fine to do so as long as there's the, you're still going to give the viewer the result. If it's honest, is it okay to use a clickbait title?
I mean, I suppose it would be, but I think, if using the example that you've given there, you've got a big story or a big scoop that you want to shout about, essentially. If it's that big a scoop, or it's that big a story, that would be enough to sustain it. So if you look, for example, I don't know, look at any kind of national newspaper on their online pages, they'll be considering SEO, for example. And I think it's quite important to separate out the distinction between an SEO headline on an online news article and clickbait, because I don't think they're the same. If you've got a really good story, that's what you say.
Yeah.
It's not that you're not giving anything away, because it's the fact that it's a massive story and you want to advertise that. That's the thing that's going to drive people to go and read it.
Right, got you.
Rather than going, oh, you wouldn't believe what this cabinet minister's done.
Yeah,
None of them really,
yeah.
Every time you click on a clickbait article, you feel like you're getting duped.
But you still click on it, don't you, as well? That's the thing.
Because because it's almost, you don't
want to miss out.
Well, yeah, it's almost against your nature not to go, oh, well, what is this?
Yeah.
My job naturally is basically relies on being curious. For a living, we go out and find out things that are happening that other people will find interesting. And that's essentially like a very, very overly simplified view of what our job is. So you are looking but for us, it's the story. And if the story's crap, then we won't do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Rather than basically going, we've got the bare bones of something. What we write is technically correct.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the reader at the end is basically, going to feel empty, and that desire to find out the thing that they wanted to find out is never going to be satisfied.
Yeah.
So, if you're consistently clicking on things and you're being disappointed, you're going to associate that disappointment with the channel that you're being disappointed by. I think it's natural. And I think the overuse and over-reliance on what is essentially kind of being misleading, if you're willing to do that on your online presence or in your on your online channels, what's to say that you're not going to be misleading or perhaps even dishonest in your interaction with clients?
I do think it's a tactic for the beginners out there, the companies that are desperate. I think it's a desperate tactic, definitely. Like you said before, we need that curiosity. We do need to grab people with our headline, with our video titles, to get people to engage. But there's a fine line between intrigue and just a big fat lie that is...
Well, there is. You have to be very careful about how you grab people's attention, and it is difficult because, like you say, how many people are trying to grab our attention all at once, and to be that account or be that business or be whoever who wins out, it's difficult. But I think the thing is with clickbait is that it might give you early results or quick results, but the more continuously it's used, those results I suspect will kind of drop off, and it will ultimately be working against you.
Thanks so much for giving you your perspective on this, and I'll speak to you soon.
You're welcome.
Now, in our next video, we're going to be giving away our top tips for your video title, so it ties in really nicely to this video. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below. And until next week, guys, stay creative. This thumbnail right here will take you to our latest piece of content. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so by clicking on this one here. Cheers, guys.